Good day. I'm Leo Crisologo. I'm a mathematics teacher from the Philippine Science High School, and I've been invited to give a talk on international trends in education for science. Now, I want to expand that a bit. Yung science, gagawin ko siyang STEM. Because in other countries, they talk more about STEM education now than specific lang na science or math education. I would like to start by thanking the people from the Department of Education, specifically the people from the Schools Division Office of Camarines Sur. We have Dr. Loida Nidea, the Schools Division Superintendent, and Ms. John Tampiok, my co-fellow from the Fulbright DAI program who reached out and helped make this possible. Just to put perspective dun sa international part ng title, I would like to focus on my personal experiences in 5 institutions on 4 different countries, namely the Nanyang Polytechnic in Singapore, the National Taiwan Normal University na dinala kami sa ibang science high schools in Taipei. From South Australia, the Australian Science and Mathematics School. This is a very interesting school and excited akong i-share sa inyo na perspectives today. I also have some inputs from a training that I received in Worcester, Massachusetts from the Worcester Polytechnic Institute. So malapit lang siya sa Boston. And of course, from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania, which hosted the Fulbright DAI program that I was a part of. So let's start by asking the question, ano bang naiisip natin pag naririnig natin yung term na STEM education? Now, normally, I would interact with you and tatanungin ko kayo diretso, hihingi ako ng suggestions, hingi ako ng inyong opinions. Pero in this setup, huhulaan ko na lang kung ano yung mga pwedeng sabihin. But still, I would like you to think of 2 things na naisip ninyo sa word na STEM education just to see kung magiging pareho tayo ng may isip. Okay, so siguro yung pinakamadali is yung STEM strand dun sa academic track ng senior high school sa DepEd. And pag iniisip natin yun, malamang may isip natin yung individual subjects nung strand na yun. Yung chemistry, biology, physics, siguro yung math, computers, etc. Maari din may adjectives tayo maisip to describe the STEM strand, or baka yung mga students ito, pwede natin maisip na mahirap yung mga subjects, baka maisip natin na pang nerd siya, medyo negative naman na mga adjectives yun. If we're moving towards something na mas positive, baka maisip natin na yung mga STEM students, sila yung matatalino, or baka maisip din natin kailangan ng sipag sa STEM strand. But actually, gusto kong iwasan yung ganitong pagkakahon nung STEM at nung mga estudyante. Kasi ang opinion ko, ang STEM education ay hindi lang para sa STEM majors, para siya sa lahat. In the same way na ang humanities, hindi lang siya para sa mga artists, sa mga writers, pati yung mga taong nasa STEM strand, kailangan nila ng grasp ng humanities para ma-appreciate nila yung mundo ng ginagalawan nila at yung kultura nila. At the same time, important din for students who are not taking STEM, who may be more immersed in humanities subjects, na may understanding nung principles ng STEM education. Kasi para to sa lahat, hindi lang siya para sa mga STEM students. Kung hindi naman yung subjects o yung adjectives na iisip natin, baka maisip natin yung equipment na kailangan natin para makapag-deliver ng isang STEM education. Maaring naisip natin ng mga test tubes para sa chemistry. Kailangan natin ng microscope para sa biology. Sa physics naman, kailangan natin ng setup para mag-demonstrate ng concepts in physics. For example, itong mga water rockets. Siguro may makakaisip din sa atin na, pag engineering, kailangan ng mga 3D printers na makakagawa ng mga ganitong products. Now, totoo, it's easy to associate these things with STEM, no? But when we talk about STEM education, hindi lang tayo nakatali dun sa gamit na meron tayo sa equipment. Especially that the access to these types of equipment, hindi madali para sa lahat, especially for people like us who are living in a third world country. Another thing na pwede nating maisip pag sinabi nating STEM education ay yung mga products ito, yung mga tao na nag-undergo ng isang STEM education. Maisip natin yung ating mga doctors, yung ating mga engineers, yung ating mga scientists. So just an aside and maybe a suggestion, pag nagpapakita tayo ng photos ng mga careers ng mga tao, hindi naman kailangan na STEM lang, no? I think it's best kung Filipinos yung nasa picture. So I have here Filipino doctors. This is a Filipino engineer who works in NASA. And these are Filipino scientists who have worked in Project NOAA. I think it would be easier for students na maka-identify pag nakakita sila ng mga role models na kamukha nila, na maisip nila na nandun din sila sa posisyon na yon. Pero, kung naisip natin yung subjects, naisip natin yung descriptions, naisip natin yung equipment, o naisip natin yung tao, naisip ba natin yung skills na ina-expect nating nade-develop ng mga estudyante na nag-undergo ng isang magandang STEM education? Siguro yung tanong ay, paano mag-isip ang isang STEM-educated person? Ano yung proseso na ginagamit niya sa pag-solve ng problems? Kasi one of the promise of a STEM education is magkakaroon ng silbi sa society yung graduates niya at magsosolve ng problems of society. So ano yung proseso na ginagamit ng isang STEM-educated person sa pag-solve ng problems? Now, this was on the news a few days ago that lumabas na yung result ng TIMSS, Trends in International Mathematics and Science Study. And siguro alam natin na tinake natin yung TIMSS na yun last year at tinake natin para sa grade 4 lang. Tapos matagal-tagal na rin since we last took it, so wala tayong data. The results would say that we are the lowest in 58 countries na nag-participate doon. Of course, this is bad news. Pero sa totoo lang, kailangan natin tong information na to eh. The news is bad, totoo naman. Pero we need this information. Kasi kailangan nating mag-improve. At kailangan alam natin kung paano at saan tayo mag-improve. So andun na tayo dapat sa stage na maghahanap tayo ng solutions dun sa problema ang in-expose ng TIMSS result. So siguro, we'll take this result for now. Pwede tayong malungkot saglit. Hindi naman natin kailangan magalit. Pero kung 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, ganito pa rin ranking natin. Baka dun dapat magalit na rin tayo. Pero hindi natin dapat iisipin na kasalanan natin to. Kasi hindi lang ito problem ng instruction, ng curriculum. Problema to ng equity. Problema to ng food security. Kakulangan ng shelter, ng health. This is a societal problem and we need everyone to contribute. So siguro yung maganda nating tanong na susunod, ano ba yung ibig sabihin sa ibang bansa pag sinabi nilang STEM education? Now, pag nahanap tayo ng definitions ng STEM education, medyo madami tayong makikita sa internet. Siguro dahil wala tayong agreed upon na isang definition lang. So, namili na lang ako ng nagustuhan ko. And here, the emphasis is mine. So, the Florida Department of Education, one of their definitions of STEM is that, one, it's the intentional integration of STEM and their practices. I highlighted the word intentional kasi nire-recognize nito na ang real-world problems ay rarely solved within one discipline lang. Wala tayong problema sa mundo na math lang makakasolve, bio lang makakasolve. It will take inputs from the different disciplines para mag-solve ng isang real-world problem. So bakit natin hihintayin na graduate na, nakalabas na yung bata bago natin sila sanayin sa paghahanap ng connections between the different disciplines para mag-solve ng problems? So there has to be intent at the very start. Built-in siya nung ginagawa natin yung framework, yung curriculum. And we have to admit na mahirap siya. Kasi tayo, na magtuturo at mag-implement nitong curriculum na to, tayong teachers, usually trained tayo sa disciplines natin. Ako, math teacher ako. Trained ako sa math. Hindi ako masyadong maalam sa bio or sa chemistry. Pero kung magtuturo ako ng STEM, may challenge din sa akin na may alam ako sa mga subjects na yun. So this is difficult. But this has to be done. Second, there must be a student-centered learning environment. Now, lagi natin ito sinasabi na, dapat student-centered tayo. But what does it mean? Siguro simulan natin sa classroom. Isipin natin yung classrooms natin. Naka-design ba sila to maximize learning? Or naka-design ba sila para maging madali sa atin as teachers i-manage yung classroom, mag-discipline, mag-prevent ng cheating, iwasan sila mag-usap habang nagkaklase tayo? No, these things are important. Pero pag inuna natin ang ganung pag-iisip, yun yung pinaprioritize natin. Yung environment na behaved yung mga students. Maaring natututo sila sa ganung environment, but na-prioritize ba natin yung design ng ating spaces, learning spaces, for their learning? And later, we'll see some schools that have designed their learning spaces more for learning rather than for classroom management. This is one of the goals, to investigate and engineer solutions to real-world problems. Ito yung technology and education part ng word na STEM. Students will be expected to contribute sa society later on. And that would mean finding solutions to problems and building these solutions to these problems. So, ito na yung goals natin. Bukod doon sa mag-solve ng problems, yung science part naman ay makapag-construct ng evidence-based explanations ng real-world phenomena. Hindi naman natin dito sinasabi na kailangan lahat ng evidence sa kanila manggagaling. Yung skill lang ba ng pag-identify kung ano ang good evidence o hindi. So for example, tanong natin, kailangan ba natin magsuot ng mask sa pandemya? Pwedeng may magsabi na hindi naman kasi sabi ng kapitbahay ko na nagka-COVID, hindi naman siya malala, gumaling naman siya agad. Totoong nangyari sa kapitbahay yun. Pero tatanggapin ba natin itong ebidensya na ang COVID as a whole ay harmless at hindi nangangailangan ng reaction na kinakailangan natin mag-mask lahat? So, anong ebidensya ang tatanggapin natin? Kahit totoo naman yung sinasabi ng kapitbahay. At the same time, sabihin natin, meron tayong scientista gumawa ng computer model, pinapakita paano kumakalat yung virus sa hangin sa isang aircon na room na maliit. Tatanggapin ba nating ebidensya yon? Bakit? Maaring oo, pero bakit? Dapat kayang i-defend at i-communicate ng students natin kung alin dun sa dalawa yung mas matimbang na ebidensya. So ano yung gusto nating matutunan ng students natin para masabi natin na STEM literate sila? I think that the first is they have to understand kung ano yung scientific method. At marami tayong models ng scientific method. Ito yung pinili ko kasi this displays the scientific method as an ongoing process. So how does it work? First is make observation sa paligid ko. Let's say, kunyari, nakakita ako ng rainbow. Okay, I saw a rainbow. Then mag-iisip ako ng questions dun sa na-observe ko. Paano nagagawa yung rainbow? Napansin ko nagkakaroon ng rainbow pagkatapos umulan. And yung next step, magagawa tayo ng hypothesis. Gagawa tayo ng sarili nating explanation to explain yung nakita natin na observation na yun. Siguro ang rainbow, nakikita natin siya tuwing natatapos ang ulan. So kung yun yung hypothesis natin, magagawa tayong prediction. Yun yung prediction natin. Pag umulan, makakita ako ng rainbow. So pwede ko na i-test yung prediction na yun. So uulan bukas. Abangan ko kung may rainbow pagkatapos. Ay, wala. Nako, so mali yung hypothesis ko. So the scientific method will require you now na baguhin yung hypothesis mo kasi hindi nag-work yung prediction mo. So you refine that, siguro at some point makarating ka dun sa tamang hypothesis, and then from hypothesis, you develop the general theory, meron ka nang na-accomplish. And then you start making observations again, and so on and so forth. You go through the cycle. So itong scientific method, this is a framework for scientific truth. Ito yung gagamitin natin para masabi natin yung isang bagay ay totoo scientifically. Ang maganda din sa kanya ay sinasabi nito na pwede nating baguhin yung isip natin pag nakita nating may mali, pag hindi nag-work yung predictions natin. At yun yung strength ng science. It can admit pag mali siya. At meron siyang process para i-correct yung sarili niya. So that's a quick summary of the scientific method. Yung isa pa, na siguro ito yung mas bago. Dahil alam naman natin from before na tinuturo natin yung scientific method, is the engineering design process. This is the second component ng STEM education kailangan nating maituro sa mga estudyante. There is a process for identifying and solving and communicating the solutions to a real-world problem. Now, madami rin tayo makikitang engineering design processes sa internet. So, pipiliin ko ito. This was developed by a team in STEM plus PH. So, ginawa nila para sa Filipino by using Filipino words. So, kailangan i-define yung problema na gusto mong ayusin. So, maaring bilang engineer, may pag-usap tayo sa mga tao. Ano ba yung kailangan nyo? At paano namin kayo matutulungan? So, papakinggan natin yung tao, madedefine natin yung problem. Susunod step, kailangan nating malaman kung kailan tapos na yung pag-solve sa problema. Ano yung ating success indicators? As well as sa paano tayo magsisimula. So, mag-research tayo, sasaliksik tayo kung ano ang mga pwede nating gawin at kung kailan natin masasabing okay na, tapos na, na-solve na yung problema. Next step, evaluate natin yung possible solutions na nahanap natin. Hindi nito sinasabi na may isang solusyon lang at paano hanapin yun. Sinasabi niya maaring madami tayong nakitang solutions, hindi lahat perfect. So pipiliin natin kung ano yung pinakamaganda, pinakabagay, pinakamura at pinakaangkop dun sa problemang gusto natin i-solve. Then, gagawan natin siya ng prototype. Kasi kailangan nating maipakita na kaya niyang i-solve. So, maaari tayong gumawa ng prototype, gagamit tayo ng cheap na gamit. Yung idea dito is we fail cheaply and we fail quickly and we learn and move forward agad. So, magkamali na agad habang nasa simula pa lang. Magkamali na agad habang mura pa lang yung gamit na ginagamit natin sa pag-solve ng problem. At makita natin kung ano pang mga problema yung hindi natin nakita nung ine-evaluate natin yung solutions. So pag nagawa ang prototype, subukin, we test and evaluate. Pag may problema, balik tayo sa paghahanap ng solutions, prototype, testing, tapos fixing, prototype, and so on, hanggang dumating tayo sa point na, okay, ito na yung optimal na solution natin. And then, kailangan natin siya ma-communicate dun sa mga taong tinutulungan natin. Kasi kung hindi nila to naiintindihan, hindi nila to gagamitin. So this is one model of the engineering design process na gusto natin maintindihan ng STEM students natin. Okay, so let's dig deeper and talk about the practice of STEM education. And we could start with the curriculum. In the disciplinary model ng curriculum, you have different subjects na hiwa-hiwalay. Let's say biology, chemistry, physics, math, computer science, etc. And each circle here represents a single subject, a single discipline. In the disciplinary model, ang biology, we're using it to solve problems in biology. Sa chemistry, you're solving problems in chemistry. Sa math, you're solving problems sa math. So yung problems na ina-expect natin na isolve ng mga bata, naka-constrain dun sa subject nila. Ang STEM, nagpo-push siya for increased connections and integrations between subjects. Kasi nire-recognize niya na ang problems talaga na nag-e-exist sa totoong buhay, hindi mo sila pwedeng ikahon lang sa isang subject. Hindi tayo makaka-encounter ng problems in the real world na biology lang yung kailangan ko dito, math lang to. So it's looking for more integrations between the subjects, between the disciplines. Let's go up dun sa levels natin and move on to the next slide. So we have multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. Sa multidisciplinary, and this is actually a great model na for STEM education, na umabot tayo sa multidisciplinary na form. Let's say we have a real-world problem na nangangailangan ng solution. And real-world problems, hindi sila kayang solusyonan ng isang discipline lang. So yung approach natin sa problem solving will take parts from the different subjects or the different disciplines. So kailangan natin ng konting math, kailangan natin ng konting biology, kailangan natin ng konting chemistry, kailangan natin ng konting design. So for example, gusto natin mag-collect ng rainwater para inumin. Kasi hindi tayo naaabot ng water sources at walang malapit na sapa na pwedeng kuhanin ng tubig. So, sige, rainwater. Yung biology aspect, ano microorganisms yung e-expect natin na makita sa tubig na maaring makaharm sa atin? Paano natin yung lilinisin? Maaring yung chemistry part ay, well, pwede na gumamit ng purifiers. Ano ba pwede natin gamitin? Chlorine? Pwede rin tayo gumamit ng iodine, betadine. Alin doon yung mas maganda? Maaring sa engineering. Paano ko i-construct yung water collector ko para maging efficient siya, makakuha siya ng pinakamadaming tubig tuwing umuulan, na hindi siya masyadong mahal, etc. So, that could be a multidisciplinary problem. Ang best example na naisip ko for an interdisciplinary problem is a research problem. So, I'll share my experience. I advise some students na ang project nila ay gagamit sila ng slime molds. Gagamit sila ng slime molds para mag-model ng isang transport network. So, merong biology yun, meron siyang computer programming, meron siyang mathematics. So, natulungan ko sila sa mathematics, siguro sa programming, they have another teacher, natulungan sila sa biology. And, combining those two, nakadevelop sila nung expertise dun sa dalawang fields na yon, sa slime mold, sa math at sa programming, na kailangan nila para ma-solve yung problem na yon. So, it's like developing a new field of expertise. Hindi ko alam yung alam nila. Hindi rin alam ni second teacher yung alam nila. Sila lang may alam nun. But they took on They took what they learned from the different disciplines, combined them together to solve a single problem. So research could be an interdisciplinary endeavor. Yung transdisciplinary, this would involve more systems like my management, my policymaking design. So this is for solving complex problems. And maybe it's not something that we would expect our students to be able to do, but it's something that we can prepare them for by going through a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches. Hindi na sila maninibago when they have to expand beyond their disciplines. So that's one goal of STEM integration. As part of a committee that develops the STEM framework for Philippine Science High School, this is one of the nicer resources na nahanap namin. And this is from the Dayton STEM Center sa Ohio. At ina-identify lang niya kung ano yung mga components na dapat nag-exist para masabi natin na may quality yung STEM framework natin. So, daan ako lang mabilis. I think ano naman sila, self-evident. Like one, mataas yung potential na ma-engage yung students sa activities, sa lessons. Mataas yung degree ng integration ng different STEM disciplines. Hindi lang pilit na mababaw. May connections din sa non-STEM disciplines. Pag meron yan, mas mataas yung quality ng framework natin. At the same time, hindi sinasacrifice yung integrity ng academic content. Malalim pa din siya at rigorous. The tasks na binibigay sa bata para matuto sila, mataas yung quality, hindi sila nga parang pilit lang para lang may magawa. Maganda rin kung maiko-connect natin sila sa future careers ng mga students natin. Pwede na i-take para mas maging malalim yung relevance sa kanila ng lessons. Important din na while we push for collaboration, group work, at ma-recognize nila na yung problems hindi sila kayang ma-solve ng isa lang, na-emphasize pa rin yung accountability na kailangan natin tulong-tulong. Pag wala ang isang tao, hindi successfully ma-resolve yung problem at kailangan niya maging accountable. Kailangan maganda rin yung assessments natin, nasusukat lahat ng gusto natin i-test, kahit collaborative yung requirements. Ninth, kailangan may emphasis yung application ng engineering design process, the one I discussed earlier. Kasi yung process na kailangan nilang gamitin for problem solving. And 10th, sana mataas yung quality ng technology integration. So this one, I'm very excited to share. This is the Australian Science and Mathematics School in Adelaide, South Australia. I had the opportunity to visit this school in 2018. At yung goal talaga nila ay true integration ng mga subjects and disciplines nila together. So they don't have the usual subjects like biology, chemistry, social studies, math. What they have are these learning programs. So they have something like biodiversity, body in question, communication systems, dream, design, develop, earth and cosmos, engineering a monster. Ito na yung pinaka-subjects nila. Pag pumasok yung bata, ito yung mga papasukan niyang subjects. And what they did was, they designed learning activities within each learning program. May hit nila lahat ng topics and competencies dun sa regular Australian curriculum. So, dinistribute nila yon dito sa learning programs na to at hinanapan nila ng way na integrate. So when they talk about biodiversity, in talking about biodiversity, tatouch nila yung biology nun, yung chemistry nun, yung mathematics nun, yung writing about it, communicating, pati na rin yung pag-design, siguro ng mga pamphlets, posters, and so on. And they do that for each component. And what they do then is they mix yung grade 10 and grade 11 nila. Sabay-sabay ito tinitake ng grade 10 grade 11. So kunyari, itong anim na to, iti-take to ng grade 10, grade 11 ngayon. Next year, yung grade 10 dati, so sila na yung next na grade 11, ito naman iti-take nila kasama nung bagong pasok na grade 10. It's a different set of learning programs. So parang every year papalit. And that gives them time to revise and improve yung learning programs nila from the previous year. Para sa next year, pag dineliver nila, may improvements. It's very exciting kasi hindi talaga sila nag-individual subjects. And this is a very interesting model for a school. Now, you might be curious paano nila pinipili students nila. Hindi sila nagpapa-exam. Like sa Philippine Science, may admission test. Kung mataas ka, pasok ka. They just have an interview process na magsusulat ng essay yung bata na ma-demonstrate na interesado talaga sila sa science at willing sila gawin yung work. I want to show you some learning spaces, siguro classrooms from different locations to see how they interpret yung pagiging student-centered ng isang STEM education program. This is an open classroom from the Massachusetts Academy of Mathematics and Science. So, intentionally, pumili sila ng mga ganitong klaseng tables and chairs for their classrooms to encourage collaboration. Hindi yung usual natin na individual chairs na may desks. So this encourages collaboration, communication between students. And you may ask, paano pag may exam? Kokopyahan na lang sila dyan. So I guess what they do is they design assessments na hindi madaling magkopyahan, na hindi sit-down exams that are more problem-based. I think by doing this, they are communicating to their students that ang priority nila ay yung learning students nila at nagre-reflect yun dun sa how they design their learning spaces. Ito naman yung learning spaces or open classrooms ng Australian Science and Mathematics School. They have this large area where they conduct up to 3 classes at the same time. 3 different teachers teaching the same learning program. The students can sit anywhere they want. They can choose to listen to the teachers. They can choose to work on their activities. There are no walls between classes. And students are free to move around kahit nagsasalita si teacher. And in this learning space, 3 classes are happening simultaneously. Now, kung observe niyo siya, at manggagaling tayo sa kung ano yung familiar sa atin, maaring maisip natin na, ayan, bastos ng mga bata, hindi sila nakikinig sa teacher. Tapos nag-uusap sila kahit nagsasalita si teacher. Pero actually, the students are engaged sa task. Ginagawa nila yung activities. Pag nag-uusap sila, nagko-collaborate sila, at nagtatanong din sila sa teacher. Again, this is a special school. Hindi rin ito yung norm na public school na makikita natin sa Australia. Kaya din siguro, hindi sila masyadong mahirap i-manage. This is a makerspace sa Nanyang Polytechnic Institute in Singapore. Kung hindi kayo familiar sa makerspace, this is a room where students are encouraged to build and make whatever. Binibigyan lang sila doon ng equipment. Itong particular makerspace na to, meron tong mga 3D printers, meron silang mga laser cutters, they have shop equipment, meron din silang mga sewing machines, daming raw materials, papel, tela, kahoy. And what is expected of the students are, pupunta sila dun sa makerspace para mag-build ng project nila sa ibang subjects na meron sila. So students from any department can work on their projects here. Let's take a look kung ano yung mga equipment nila sa ibang schools. Alam naman natin na equipment secondary lang sa STEM principles and sa STEM philosophy, but I guess it's good to look at them for comparison. And of course, they have their well-stocked laboratories and equipment. You would see a lot of 3D printers. And important sa mga ganitong facilities na hindi tinitipid yung raw material, yung filament, yung parang ink na ginagamit. You'd also see a lot of their outputs, especially those with 3D printers, like parang mga toys. They start with toys like this lion and then could move on to something that is actually useful, like robotic hands. Sometimes if they have laser cutters, they can produce chess sets na ganyan. Students in these institutions can also use their engineering tools to illustrate scientific and mathematical concepts like the ones in this slide. And here I want to share with you an activity na pinagawa sa amin sa Taipei. So parang may ganitong product na gawa nila, tapos may Lego bricks, and we're supposed to make a toy na ipapatong mo lang siya, tapos maglalakad siya down an incline. Now for their students, hindi kami, yung students nila, they're expected to design and make their own walking toy na hindi na nakabase sa Lego. Katulad nitong penguin na to. Gagawin niya yung ginagawa ng Lego na yun. Yung Lego, para lang matutunan ng students yung principle. And then they have to apply it to their own design. In Worcester, sa Massachusetts, I was able to attend a STEM hour. Para siyang gathering ng science teachers or STEM teachers. And they share classroom activities. And this is one classroom activity ng prototyping. Gumagamit lang ng mga karton, tapos may problem na ipapasolve. So this is a demonstration of the engineering design process na hindi kailangan ng magastos ng equipment. And so I'd like to thank you for accompanying me on that tour of the institutions na na-visit ko in the past 3 years. So to wrap up, yung gusto natin ma-accomplish with STEM education is to educate our students on the scientific method at matuto sila mag-evaluate ng evidence and the engineering design process which they should use to design solutions to real-world problems. STEM education must have a problem-based approach. Students must be trained to use their STEM skills to solve real-world problems and provide evidence-based explanations for phenomena, yung output nga ng scientific method at ng engineering design process. And finally, it should be integrated. A high level ng integration ng skills and disciplines is highly desired kasi real-world problems will be rarely solved through a single discipline. And to support STEM education programs, one, we need to design learning spaces that will promote collaboration and emphasize learning. Sometimes this might mean na i-deprioritize natin yung other concerns like classroom management, but ganun talaga. Equipment, it's important but it's secondary to developing STEM skills and STEM literacy. One interesting project I heard was that DepEd is planning to develop STEM centers in the regions. The idea behind these STEM centers are students can go to these STEM centers to do their experiments, to do their research, for a more cost-effective way of providing equipment to our students. Kasi baka hindi natin afford na bawat school bibigyan ng complete STEM equipment. At least if we can provide a STEM center per region, then meron pa rin access yung students natin dun sa equipment para ma-further yung STEM education nila. And three, we really need administrative support. As I have said kanina, teaching an integrated approach is very challenging for teachers na sanay tayo sa discipline-based approach. And if we have good administrative support, this will free us as teachers to focus on developing rich STEM learning experiences. And I would like to ask you, teachers, kung makaka-identify kayo ng students nyo na may love for learning, may love sa science at math, to encourage them to apply to Philippine Science. We offer a scholarship program for 6 years. We provide stipends, free books, free lodging sa dormitories kung kinakailangan. And we have a campus sa Bicol kung ayaw niyong pumunta ng Manila. And due to the pandemic, we don't have an entrance exam. So selection will be conducted in 2 stages. Yung first will be based sa grades ng students and yung second will be on an essay. The top 240 applicants, pwede silang pumunta sa main campus sa Metro Manila, but they can choose naman to go to the Bicol campus kung ayaw nilang maging malayo masyado sa parents nila. We offer one of the best STEM programs in the country. So maraming salamat po sa opportunity na to na ma-share ko yung experiences ko with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me sa email ko, leocasologo@pshsl.ph. I'm also providing my number here. So maraming salamat po.